And we are live. Sorry for the delay. Welcome to the episode 20 of the Relax Guardians podcast. I'm your host this evening, Agnikai, joined by Sebs from an undisclosed location. How you doing, Sebs?
I'm having a fucking nightmare. Everything just fucking died. Everything. And I mean, everything. My thing hotspot didn't work. The light over thing, the bloody USB port. Everything died.
Ooh.
Everything.
Well, it's working a lot better now.
Oh, God. But I have beer. But, like, what you don't realize, these fucking... So I'm in a room, all right? I have a light. I have my little ring light thing that I bought and I take with me. But there's no lights in the ceiling. None whatsoever. I have the toilet light, which is there. I have no light, but I have this little light by the door.
Why do you have two beds?
It's absolute Well, just in case I want to sleep in another one.
If
I don't like that one,
That's fair.
I like a made bed,
Mm.
and so if this one's not made, then I jump into this one. And if Seiko wants to come over, he can always show me a good time. Da, 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 da. What's going on?
Oh. I've been fucking smashed with uni this week, and my long prank on the Seiko finally paid off this week. That was hilarious.
But there was only like a little bag of dicks. Like a tiny little bag of dicks.
Saying it's still funny. I was expecting like a kilo bag. Like they advertise it like it's a fucking bag, and it was like 300 grams. Which, look, how many lolly dicks do you actually want to receive? Like, there's only so much you can eat.
Come from Jamaica though.
Yeah, it went from Jamaica, bounced around
but
America.
But if you go on. But if you go on, if you actually go on eBay, you can buy an actual dildo making one for like $10.
I've already thought about.
So you can buy one with a vein and everything.
Oh, I've already thought about my next big prank, but I'm going to let him get me back first. You know, have a bit of back and forth, keep it interesting. I think we've got a bit of delay going on here. But oh well. Anyway.
All right. So let's get this quick, otherwise I could have like a full fucking meltdown. Let's get this quickly out of the way so I don't have to use this fucking dirty setup again. So, what's going on in Destiny? New strike got released today. It's their Proving Ground strike. I just did it before I came on. It's actually not bad. You get to go inside the tank, which I thought was pretty fucking cool. There's some really cool little movements in there that you're like, wow, this is pretty fucking rank. Kind of weird because they have one stage they have so they have the like tank tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tank tracks are moving, but the tank isn't moving outside. So it's a really weird thing.
Like the scenery is not moving past a window, but it's like meant to
I've
feel
lost
like
you completely.
Oh, god damn it. He's lost his audio on me, so I'm just gonna sit here and just like make fun of Seiko until he gets me back. This is why we need a third. So if you don't know, Seiko lives down in Traralgon. I live up in Victoria. I live on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. I shipped a bag of edible dicks from Jamaica, which bounced to America and then shipped to Japan and then shipped to Australia. A bag of edible dicks to his work and made him open them in front of his manager. And so now he's got to get me back somehow, and I just don't know how it's going to happen. I've lost Sebs again, but I'm just going to keep going with what's happening in Destiny this week until he gets back. So we got the Proving Ground Strike. I haven't played it yet. He was saying that he's played it and something happened with the background. Stasis got nerfed, plus buffed. Talk about that a bit. Duskfield grenades don't do shit anymore. They don't suck you in as far. They don't freeze you. Double shurikens no longer freeze you. Dodging in shurikens no longer freeze you. Titan Behemoths super doesn't last as long. Warlock Shadebinders. The projectiles track like a truth. I've been watching Twitter. Dudes are shooting the Shadebinder projectile. It's looping up underneath people, going up around the sky, coming all the way back down, and fucking freezing someone in front of them. What the fuck? Why can't Bungie just balance something fucking nicely? We're gonna have to make this a short episode. I'm sorry, guys, but this is just not working tonight. Wild Sebs isn't here. 2 weeks ago on the Destiny Down Under podcast, Mylan called out Sebs for a Facebook post that he made, but Mylan doesn't know who Sebs is. He just thinks he's some random fucking person, but Sebs has his own podcast. He's back. I'm not going to tell it anymore. I'm going to save it.
I am so sorry.
It's okay.
Everything just fucking died on me.
I just rambled. I rambled about nothing, and they loved it.
This.
They loved it so much that the chat just went quiet. It was amazing.
I hate this, man. It's fucking shite. All right. So I went back into the strike, and they've got some issues where the tank tracks are moving, but there isn't any. The tank isn't moving outside. You know, and that's kind of really weird. And there's
like the background's not moving past. If you're
the tank because there's certain parts where you have to jump across tank tracks. And then they go in, and they're fucking great because you look at them and they look fucking cool as fuck. But then you're like, on the outside that the tank isn't moving. That kind of fucks me, like annoys me a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the tank tracks, they get to move.
Yeah.
But there's a good little cutscene, and I don't want to wreck it. But I want to wreck it all in the same thing because, like, we know shit. Yeah. So there's a cutscene where so the whole point of this quest is, or the mission is, you go and you're the champion. So Zavala goes, all right, what are we gonna do? We're gonna take on Keitel, but I'm not gonna take on Keitel. You're gonna take on Keitel.
Of course.
So I'm like, right, like. I was expecting Zavala to come out fucking shoulder pads going, fucking wrecking everything and all this sort of stuff. And he goes, nah, mate, you're fucking doing it. You go and fight the big ass Cabal. And then you fuck off and you go into the tank and you fight the big ass Cabal. And I was expecting the big ass Cabal to be a little bit harder than the Colossus. You know, in the battlefields, you get the Colossus at the end. And he's a bullet sponge, isn't he? He kind of rolls up. He's a bullet sponge. Yeah. He's fucking causing dramas and stuff like that. And I just expected that. But one guy had a Chaos Reach. One guy had a Nova Bomb. I had my Chaos Reach and just fucking wiped the floor with him. And he kind of just disappeared in the big dome. And then he fucking died. And then I got a blue out of it. Isn't this the end? Isn't this the end of the fucking season?
Yeah,
Isn't
but it's
this
a
the end?
strike.
And then I'm just getting blue shit out of it. And so... And then I kind of try to leave because it says go and speak to Crow and all that sort of shit. So he fucks. And then there's the cutscene where on Nessus you got Keitel there. You can see it does like a little over the shoulder thing of one of the one of the guys, the floaty fucking
Scion.
people. You know, the
Have you lost me again?
the floaty guys, the ones with the.
Have you lost me again? Because I'm saying Scion, and it doesn't look like you can hear me.
Scion. Yeah, the Scion. Sorry, everything's fucking dying, man. I'm surprised I'm fucking. So you see over the shoulder, Scion, and then they walk in, and then they go. They pull the big knife out. You know, this is the knife that cuts the shit and all that sort
The
of.
gilded knife.
Yeah, that's exactly that one. And so this is the gilded knife, and Keitel cuts her hand and then gives it to another Scion, but that Scion over the shoulder shoots the light binding bullet and hits Zavala's ghost. And it drops to the floor. And you can see him you can see the thing come behind him where his light is obviously left.
Right.
And where the light has obviously left him. But then the Scion with the sword goes to attack. And then for some reason, Crow puts his face in the way of the sword. And just get fucking hoofed in the face. I'm like, why would you put your face? Why would you put your face in front of this fucking thing? And
Superman used his shoulder. Use the shoulder. Yeah.
He puts his face in it. And then he gets fucked off. And then he's on the floor and he's like, he's on the floor. Oh, fuck. I'm on the floor. And then he gets Zavala's ghost and picks it back up and takes the fucking little bullet fucking thing out of it. Zavala gets his fucking light back. And then Crow does this. He goes, I'm alive. And Zavala goes, what the fuck? What the fuck? And just picks him up off the floor. As if they're the best fucking buds. Just looks at him. And the only thing that Crow goes, he goes, I'm alive. And Zavala goes, I just picks him up. And then goes, oh, sorry, mate. I've sent you on a fucking mission now. You get sent away on a mission because I don't know what the fuck to do with you. And then you go back and you go back to the helm and he's there with his mask off and shit. But for him to defend Zavala with his face, it's the ultimate what the fuck is going on?
So did the mask crack and his face was revealed?
No, he just fucking took it full front in the face. His mask goes off it went into the and he goes, and then no damage to his face. He just got hit in the face by a sword, like a big ass sword. The knife is like this fucking high. Bang, hits him in the fucking face, and off he fucking goes. And I'm like,
so now everyone knows that Crow is Aldrin.
Well, this is what it got me. This is what got me, and this has kind of got me thinking about certain aspects. So he turned around and goes, Osiris knew, you knew, we knew, Ikora Rey knew, and he's like, ooh, without trust, we're just as bad as the Cabal. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Then we haven't said anything to anybody about this fucking Crow fella being Aldrin Sov. But what he turned around and said was, he turned around and goes, there's a little scene where you have to go and talk to him, and he turns around and says, I'm trying to remember it correctly. He goes, since I feel a weight has been taken off my shoulders since somebody they know about me being reborn in this body. Not Aldrin Sov being brought back to life. It's Crow being reborn in Aldrin Sov's body.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the aspect where we are what we were before we got made into a Guardian, or we are just a different entity just put into a body and then we're moving on.
Yeah, well, that's kind of just confirming. It's not confirming the theory, I guess, but from Crow's perspective, he is not Aldrin. He is just in Aldrin's body.
Yeah,
I guess that's the sort of
he's
same
a,
with us because we
he
don't
is.
have our well, no one has their memories except for
Yeah,
Anna, sort of.
yeah, and the guy who killed Shooter Malfoy
Oh yeah,
because he got the last word guy. But it kind of went. You kind of go, oh wow, that is quite a poignant thing that he's reborn. He's a meat suit.
mm-hmm.
Basically, he's a complete meat suit, and he's just literally born in another person's body that was just possibly happens to be the guy who killed Cade, you know,
Yeah.
or just happens to be the person who killed Cade.
Yeah.
And I thought that was that's the most interesting part that I got off it. But it looks like now, oh, that's the other cool thing. So when the Scion hit Crow in the face, no damage whatsoever. Keitel come up, grab the Scion above her head, and just fucking smashed him down on the floor. Like, Rah! And this fucking Scion was like, and so now we're in an armistice with Keitel.
Right.
Because if we lost, Zavala was going to become one of her fucking barony people.
Champion.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like we got on and everybody started sending me fucking sending me like invites to join the party. I was like, I just wanna play this strike.
Yeah.
I just want to play this strike. I just need to play this strike so I can just talk about it today.
Yeah.
Basically.
I got on just before as well, and I was looking at like the challenge of things that you have to do to get the actual cutscenes because I'm only on like fucking week 3. I'm so far behind. And so I had to do the Oracle Battlegrounds. I know, I'm so far behind. I had to do the Oracle Battleground, and that is the worst fucking battleground ever. It's so goddamn long. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
I hate it. It took me like 20 minutes, and this is just not even fun. Like, this isn't even a fun... Like, the other ones are like, go and kill a few Scion, or go and kill a few Cabal, throw the ball at the fucking thing, and it's done. But this one's like, you got to kill X amount of Vex, but like only Cabal are going to fucking spawn. So to keep waiting for the Vex to fucking spawn. Like, I'm just getting bombarded by wyverns that I can't fucking kill because you got to give me this ball, but I got to kill Vex, but there's no fucking Vex. It was shit. I hated it.
Yeah, it's. But like I was reading on Twitter, they're like, "Oh, it just changes the whole aspect of how I feel about Zavala," and I'm like, "He didn't do shit. He just turned around and goes, "You're the fucking champion. Off you go. You go and kill that guy." Like attack dog type of style.
But
off you trot,
all
man.
Zavala has ever done. Like,
yeah, but I expected him to. You know that one strike where it's a cutscene and he's outside the door and he's behind his big fuck off shield, and then the door opens and he reflects the fucking shot off his shield.
Yeah.
I expected something like that. Like we rock in, no, I'll do this. Titan fucking slam, all that sort of fucking shite. And then
yeah, it'd be nice if we saw
expected more.
We saw the legends of the tower to do some shit, eh? Like it'd be great. Because Saladin's talking so much shit this season, like he is pissed off. And it's like, why don't you go and do something instead of just going, I've brought back the Iron Banner. Like, that's great. We all fucking hate that. Go and, like, do something.
But he turns around and goes, "Oh, I'm not happy with this champion thing. I just want to do a full frontal attack." You're not the fucker doing the full frontal attack. It's us freaking little shits that doing a frontal attack. You just go and do your fucking Iron Banner. You just do your fucking shit. Exactly. I'm like, come on, man. I was like, you are an Iron Lord.
Yeah.
You're an Iron Lord. Go and fucking do something, you bastard.
Yeah. it's getting to a point where it's just so annoying. Like Beyond Light as an expansion annoyed me with this because it was like the Exo Stranger and Eris and the Drifter are going to team up and they're going to do stuff. And then we got that one bit where they're all sitting by the campfire, and then that was it. They didn't do anything. I was like, come on, like you are setting this up so we interact more with these characters, and it's like they're doing shit with the darkness, and fucking the Stranger just stands there and stares at the fucking ziggurat forever, and then you go and destroy all the crystals, and she goes and has a conversation with Anna. Like, come on. Something.
I just want to see the the opening scenes to Beyond Light where they were fighting.
Yeah.
Like Drifter, Anna Bray, and Eris Morn was just going in there to fight. I just want to see. It's like the is it Rogue One, where you finally see Darth Vader fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's just walking down that corridor, wrecking everything. And you're like, fuck yeah. I finally, after six films, I've seen him once fight in a corridor. Usually it's just like, ah.
Yeah.
And then, the Return of the Jedi, where he cuts fucking Luke Skywalker's hand off. And then he just picks the other guy, the Emperor, up and throws him down a fucking hole. An unrealistic, very long hole. Because when you'd reckon a safety guy would come up and go,
well, it's got rails. Like,
why is there no handrails there, mate?
Yeah, he throws him over the bridge.
Why have you got that big? But why have you got that? Why have you got the on-off switch all the way out there, guys? Why have you got like that really long fucking walkway? That's not H&S, man. That's not H&S. You have to. Hey, Bill, come and build some handrails for this fucking thing here. Because it's the one with is it not Ray, the weird grumpy fucker with the big nose?
Kylo.
Kylo kills his old man, Luke, Han Solo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That random fucking bridge out in the middle of fucking.
That one didn't have it.
But why? Look, we're in at the end of the day, we're in cancer culture.
Holy fuck.
We're in cancel culture now, and we are like hardcore on safety. Like I can't go out to site without doing all this paperwork. Imagine that paperwork. It's got no handrails. Design flaw. Shit. We have to start making handrails. But why do we need to go out there? Oh, that's the main on-off switch for everything. If you want to reset the whole fucking system, you have to go out there, press the fucking button. Like, all right, we're off a tangent. We're on a tangent. Sorry, we bring that back to what we are here to talk about.
So just on handrails, one quick bit. They don't give a fuck if they got handrails on the scaffold that I have to get on for this half the shit I do. They're just like, look, you need to get up and get that bit of corner on that ceiling. It's just this frame. You stand on that. It's shaky as shit. And like it's just a thrown together scaffold from 4 different sets. I fall.
But isn't that the wheel around scaffolding?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mobile scaffs.
The aluminium stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have handrails, man. You have to have
bloody brace those things, but like no. It's on wheels that don't lock because the locks are broken.
But why haven't you got like the stilts that I see every other fucking painter using?
Oh, this isn't like an indoor. This is like a cabin. Way tall.
Why are you in a cabin? Are you a serial killer?
Yeah.
Why are you in a cabin?
I'm on Tambourine Mountain and I'm standing. Anyway, we're getting on another tangent.
We're getting focused. Cool. All right. Bungie, Twab. This week of Bungie.
Yeah, I'm going to gloss over this week. Like it wasn't anything amazing. The main stuff was the hotfix this week.
Well, I'm going to gloss over. I'm going to gloss over the violence part because I'm not bringing any politics into you. Well, as we know, Iron Banner's back. They had an issue with their Eyes of Tomorrow that it wasn't loading up. It wasn't giving you chances as a single character. It was only clocking up the chances if you had done the raid for over 3 people, over 3 characters.
No, other way around.
What it was
basing it on. It was giving you one. It was increasing your chances once per week instead of on all 3 characters per week.
No. So what they're saying is, if you only use 1 character, you should be able to build up near enough, slight disadvantage, but the near enough the same as if you use 3 characters. but there was an issue. It would only count if you were doing 3 characters per week, not just one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why
people were doing 120.
I wasn't doing that one. But yeah.
That's why people were doing 120 clears without getting the Eyes of Tomorrow, because it wasn't counting a single player.
Yeah.
Clocking over doing the raids. Easy piece of this.
Anyway,
the Grandmaster was out. So they changed the drop rate and all that sort of fucking crap. And then that's it. Basically, that's literally that came out. But then they obviously brought the hot fixes out. They put the nerfs out. People are complaining about that already. Like, why have you taken away my ice powers?
I'm not complaining about stasis personally. I'm glad that the dome grenade, I've just said it before, Duskfield grenades don't do as much crazy shit anymore. And
yeah.
I'm glad that hunters can't just freeze with double shurikens or dodge shuriken. I was sick of that shit. And I'm a hunter.
Yeah.
So that's gone. And I'm pretty happy. I've faced a Titan in Crucible since the update doing the Behemoth super, and they weren't super tanky. They still had some armor, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's a super. But they weren't lasting forever, and they weren't basically unkillable.
But I put a video up in Discord today where the Warlock is using his the melee.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was shooting someone, so he was there, and then the guy was in front of him. The guy jumped.
Yeah.
He shot a thing. It went all the way up.
Yeah.
Into the sky that you couldn't see it, and then came back around and caught him.
Yeah.
Like truth level.
Yeah.
Truth level aggressive tracking.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's gonna get nerfed slightly. That's gonna.
Bungie actually tweeted out saying that they knew this was a thing in testing, but they didn't want to mess with the numbers on it with this patch in case it broke the rest of the patch. Like, it was too late to try and fix it. So, like, leave for now. I'll fix it on the next one.
Right. Okay. But it's supposed to track. It's supposed to have a time limit now of the length of track, the length of it goes. Instead of a distance,
okay,
it's supposed to be a time limit. So it's supposed to go 10 seconds now.
Okay.
Or something like I read. So instead of it being meterage, so like 12 meters, 10 meters, 25 meters, it's supposed to go time. So it'll track for that period of time.
Seconds is a long time.
In theory. I know. But
again,
what they obviously nerfed as well is the... Yeah, but it's got very aggressive tracking now. Very aggressive. But see, if the issue you got is, which kind of works out, it doesn't really work out in our favor, because if you're tracking, if you're shooting, you're going off 10 seconds and you're that distance, you freeze that person, they're only frozen for 1.2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
So it's... If you've got a hand cannon and they're 10 seconds away, that's a fucking bit of a distance. That's a hell of a distance to go. Yeah. And you may not even get the shot. You may freeze the guy and you may stop him coming at you or doing something, but you may not even get the shot to kill him, you know? He might be just too far away to kill.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Because he might be out of your hand cannon range.
Most maps are within hand cannon range. We don't really have that many maps that are like excessively long where it's a sniper scout only. But yeah.
Well, I was just thinking, what's the one on the Cosmodrome? Where you got all the like tube area and you got bees in the center through that little area. Through that like little factory area.
The Rusted Lands?
With the trains and shit.
Trains.
The Rusted Lands?
No.
So from where you spawn in, it doesn't matter. Well,
Twilight Gap?
So where you spawn, I don't know. Where you spawn and where the other person spawns on the other side, that distance, I think, is one of the longest distance you can go.
Yeah.
Or where's the one with that spinny thing around the center?
Oh, the anomaly.
That like that. You may be able to get across to the other side of the anomaly now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Look, I've heard people cry about it, and I've heard people going, yeah, like obviously some hunters, some Titans are like, yeah, that was fucked.
It was pretty extreme what we could actually do. And like even playing Trials this weekend, Seiko was like, okay, and I've dodge, he's frozen, he's stunned, and I'm like, you didn't even look at that dude. He was on the other side of a wall. And you just dodged and like,
oh man, the trial. So obviously they restricted rejoins back on trials, so you're not allowed to rejoin. Once you're out, you're out. That's the end of it. And then I jumped in with a team because the boys were doing their just playing and seeing if they could get the bounty to get the gun to get their the igneous hammer type of thing. And I was like, I'll just look for an LFG, see if I can find somebody, see what happens, blah, blah, blah. And I jumped into a team, and the guy was like, oh, yeah, can you do this every week? I was like, what? He goes, what they wanted to do was jump in and just jump off the map 10 times. Just jump off the map, like throw the 10 games. And I was like, nah, not really. Because what's happening is now, is because people can't get teams, they're charging you to get to a team and then jump off a map. So it's not even, they're charging people now, not for carries to get to flawless, not for fucking like win trading. They're charging people to basically jump off a fucking map.
What?
That's like, I'm like, that's like, one, who the fuck, if you're going to pay for it, if you're going to pay for win trading, pay to get flawless, to get the adapt version, not just charging people to get a team so you jump off a map. It's the oddest. People pay money for some odd shit. Like really weird. Like I'm like, okay, and then I left, and then that was the end of that.
That's hurting my brain, wrapping my head around that. Like, I just can't imagine putting myself in that situation where I'll go, yeah, I'll pay you to go and play with your friends on my account and jump off a map. Like, why can't I just? It's just racking my head.
Yeah, it's weird. It's such a I don't know, how much is the 10 jumps off the map?
Yeah, that's
Like, would that be it?
Vinny's saying he would pay.
Like, would that be a thing? Like,
yeah,
and I'm like, I don't understand. I do not understand how people are making cash off this. People make bank off this shit.
I gotta think.
Like, I don't understand.
It must be like, say it's like $100 for a flawless card, right? It must be like $20 for jumping off the map, and they're just racking those through as fast as they can. Because how much?
No, it's $20.
$20 for but you know what I mean.
It's like, $20 for a flawless carry.
You know what I mean? But it's like cheaper to just do the jump off the map thing and then just run through those as fast as you can.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Because like, even if you just give it a go, like, look, you may not survive, but give it a go. Like, to hone some skills. Just give it a fucking go. Like, don't jump off maps. Don't like bring yourself down to jump off maps.
We even
just
played.
Give it a fucking blast, guys.
When did we play? We played Monday. That's when I was able to get on. And
yeah.
Usually by Monday, it's like the shittiest players aren't really going to be playing by then. Like, they've probably jumped on over the weekend, and it's usually like sweaties Monday, Tuesday. We got on, and we were playing people who, like, we'd never seen in there before. Usually you'd kind of start to recognize players, like Cat. But we, like, came up against, like, these mums of Destiny clan, and, like, they weren't the greatest players ever, but they weren't bad. And I was like, they
tried, though.
They tried hard. They got a few rounds on us, and, like, yeah, it was like we're playing people who are at our skill level. And like Trials, I was looking at the stats, and it's like Trials was the most busy this weekend than it's ever been in Destiny 2. Apparently it's because of the loot.
Yep, so... Yeah, all right. So Endless Veil, week 49, 19th of the 3rd. Okay? 407,184 players played Trials. All right? There was 40,232,857 kills. So it's not just, they've obviously curbed the hack album, the hacky album, however you fucking pronounce it. Flawless players, So this is your stat. So 407,000 players played the game. 85,000 players went flawless. So it's just over. So there's 153 people. 153% of people played trials on the weekend, and 51% of them went flawless.
That's not bad.
That's a 50. That's below a third.
Yeah.
That's just over a third.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's
a
lot better than obviously it's been ever. But you know, I'm hoping that, like, even though this weekend coming now won't be Igneous's hammer at 3 wins, whatever it is enough to get people to get back into trials again. Or if they just said from the last weekend, look, we didn't get that far, but we had fun. Let's do trials again. And like, hopefully something has caught underneath people's butts to go, let's go and do trials again. That was kind of fun.
So I've got what is the best weapons to be using as well. What got used this week? All right, what do you reckon is the top?
Bastion, 1100.
Nah, nope. Fellwinter's Lie.
Oh,
how many people? 4,947,479 kills with a Fellwinter's Lie.
I got
Igneous Hammer, 4,270,000. The Steady Hand, 2 million, 2.6. Astral Horizon, 2.1. The Bastion is 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
True Prophecy is 1.2. Dead Man's Tale, 99,000. Igneous Hammer Adept, 946,000. Chaperone is 766, and the Adored is 711,000.
Wow.
So it's a fair range. Obviously, Fellwinter's is a clutch fucking thing, and it's going to be up there until they nerf it, and then they'll just find another fucking shorty.
I'll be honest,
but I had a
ton of fun with Bastion. Like, after Seiko was like, just try it out, and I infused it so it wasn't 1100, and I wasn't being a fucking idiot. It was actually a lot of fun to use.
Let me just point out to the listeners, me, Seiko, and Agnakai were in trials, and he saw Seiko killing. And fair play to Seiko, he pulled it out of the bag and he was fucking wrecking everything. He even had somebody turn around and last night had somebody turn around and says, "You're a beast." Obviously, he saw a picture of him. So then Agnakai pulls one out of collections at 1100 on his Bastion. Decides to put it on. Everybody turned red bars. He couldn't fucking hit shit. He couldn't fucking. It took like 2 or 3 Bastion shots to fucking even kill someone. He usually just takes one.
I had Vinny in the chat. He's like, I don't get it. What's the 1100 play? Why are you doing this? I don't understand. Like, it's some secret technique that I've figured out.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? All right. So, Agnakai has been really busy. So, he was supposed to do Cabal. He's very busy with the university. So, I've decided to write a Fallen piece today. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And Agnakai will be doing Cabal next week. Right. So, quick lowdown on the Cabal, on the Fallen. We know they are humanoid. We know they have insect-like qualities, and they have a house structure with individual clans and in individual houses. All right. I'll go into more detail about that. All right. We know that they came from planet Reese. And we know they were called Eliksni before they were Fallen. All right. All right. I'll read this all out and then we will talk. What have you heard of my first home? We say they were buildings that touched the forest green sky, winding pathways through the gardens of smoke, beautiful storms that left a gold shimmer on our streets. Truth or rumor, Variks will not say. I give my home world to the legends, Variks of the Loyal. All right. There are different accounts of what the Eliksni homeworld was like, but none are set in stone. Was it the paradise the Eliksni talk about, or did it become the paradise after the traveler appeared? There are stories written of the ether that ran freely like the streams and rivers of our homeworld. free for all and not monotonized as it is now by the only the strongest of Kells. But I think it could have been more of a harsh world that the Elixni had to slave and fight between themselves to survive, or I could just be making this shit up. Which is more likely I could be just making this shit up. Because very soon says, oh, there's a green world, there's green sky, oh, it's a garden, it's beautiful, it's absolutely fantastic. But then there's nothing there. There's nothing there in the law dictating what it is, what it was like. So is it them? Like when I love Wales, and I am Welsh. I love Wales, but I've got this picture of Wales in my head that's beautiful, and I love it. And every time I go back, it's a fucking shithole. That I've still got mates there living in there, but the only time you know is time has passed is because they're missing more and more teeth. Like that type of thing, you know? It's an inflated, don't ask me. It's an it's a beautiful thing that's in my mind as a child, and then I left, and then every time I go back, it's a fucking wet and cold and fucking thing. All right. Ether. Okay. Ether is Elixni's lifeblood. They use it to grow strong and climb the Elixni's power ranks. It ran freely in every creek and stream. The power struggles would be continuous and ferocious. Ether is apparently both a gas and a liquid, processed from energy and matter, organic compounds in one known case. By served us through an unknown process, it is absorbed through breathing and appears to run through fallen bodies like blood. It can be even consumed by other beings as well. When there is enough in quantity, it fills Elixnis with strength. It is also cold. Ether was once freely available on the Elixni homeworld of Reese, but is now strictly rationed according to rank. Kells hold a device called the Elder Cipher, which controls how much ether is distributed from servitors. Archeons and barons get an exceedingly large portion, while dregs get only enough to stay alive. This rationing stunts the potential strength and size of contemporary fallen, particularly the lower ranks. So this is back to my main thing, because if it ran freely through all the streams, through all the water, so I'm classing ether as our water source. All right, so we have water everywhere, blah blah blah. Their ether is something that when they drink or when they consume it, they grow in power, and that's how dregs become vandals. Vandals become marauders, and marauders become Kells, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
If it run freely, you'd have all Kells everywhere, wouldn't you? There wouldn't be a power structure, because you'll just have the top end people just drinking this fucking ether everywhere. So that's why I'm like, it could just be a made up concept that everything, because their homeworld was destroyed, it's this concept where, oh yeah, it's beautiful there. It run freely and all that sort of stuff. Was the infighting still there? My thoughts on the Fallen is they've always been this race that always fought amongst themselves, house against house, clan against clan, trying to get ether, trying to fight for this ether and make themselves into Kells and all that sort of stuff.
Surely there was some sort of like power
it just doesn't seem, it just doesn't hold.
Surely there's some sort of, like,
it doesn't hold the weight where, you just have people just like, oh, I'm just going to drink this ether, I'm going to become a fucking Kell.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't seem right. The lore on this doesn't seem, the lore on it just doesn't seem like it holds enough water. So I'm under the impression that it was monotonized from fucking start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
That they were dregs. They were kept as dregs to do all the manual labor, do all the fucking thing, and then, all right, you gain my pleasure. I'm going to give you a little bit more ether. That means you move up the rank. It's very much it's the same rank structure, neat enough, as the hive.
Yeah.
With a tithe, with a sword logic. All right, you kill this person, I'm going to give you enough power. Then you give that person the next power up above you, and then you will grow up, and then blah blah blah. All right. This is what I found funny. In humans, ether appears to have the property similar to that of a recreational drug, though it can lead to an unpleasant experience according to the drifter, or possibly even poisoning, though no permanent damage can occur according to Failsafe. and ether is poisonous to the hive.
Interesting.
Why do you think the houses are named? Yeah. Why do you think the houses are named the way they are? House Winter, maybe it's geographic. House King, some kind of global ruling sect. Strange to think that how these terms have survived, their context completely removed. Ghost. All right. This is off Destinytopia. Fallen Society, or Lixney Society, is divided into a number of houses, none of which are known to maintain friendly relations with one another, save for the House of Judgment, which was meant to live among the other houses and keep the peace. Each house is ruled by a Kel, who acts as the political leader of the house and commands a Ketch. Prime servitors are exalted as gods among the fallen, inspiring fanatical devotion from the house of which they belong and providing a steady supply of vital ether and new lesser servitors. Archeon serve as both high priests and chief engineers of a house, mediating between the Kels and the prime servitors, in addition to overseeing maintenance of the house's machines. Houses require all three to be fully stable. Without a Kel, a house becomes prone to infighting. Without an Archeon, a house prime servitor is vulnerable to attack, and without a prime servitor, a house cannot produce new servitors for ether. As such, Fallen do not take the loss of their leaders lightly. If any or all of these leaders are to be killed, then the member of the house would panic and scatter, weakening the house to the point of being permanently broken. Okay. So we have a structure. We have a Kel at the top. We have the Archeon, and then we have prime servitor the other way around, and then they all do their business. If you chop the head off, if you kill the Kel, everybody fucking scatters.
Yeah.
If you kill the thing, obviously, if you haven't got a servitor that produces ether, then they can't survive because that's the food, as such, or a drug, depends what you want to fucking talk about it. All right.
Kind of a funny thing that happened with Destiny 1 was, actually, I don't think you encounter him as a new light player anymore, but when you do the initial mission where you respawn and you like go and find your ship and everything, you see the House Devil's Archon appear, and then like 2 missions later you go and kill him, and you just have like no reference that he is the top of House Devils. But you kill him at like level 3, and then you go and do the Sepik Strike way later on the Cosmodrome, and that servitor is way more powerful than that Archon was by like a long shot. It might just be a gameplay thing.
Yeah, I
don't know, but
I don't think Destiny, like, they bring the lore out saying this person's this person, this person's that, but they don't bring into the fact that these things have a power structure, and then they should reference the power structure that they come in.
Yeah.
And that's the confusing part. Like, you will kill a servitor or Septic Prime, and that's a fairly hard.
Yeah.
That's a fairly hard Nightfall, because it was out last week for the Nightfall.
Yeah.
But then, like, you go and kill fucking Aramis, who's supposed to be a fucking Kel, and that's a much shorter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a much shorter fight. Where it's not supposed to be a short fight, it's supposed to be a fucking really long fight, and she's supposed to be a bullet sponge because she is a fucking Kel. So it's kind of like it doesn't fall.
It's hard to find that balance in game to like make it feel like you are sort of going up the ranks of the enemies that you're defeating. And it was kind of a problem with Beyond Light, because we just went through and we killed all of Aramis's generals and whatnot, but they all kind of felt like the same level. None of the fights felt harder than the last. It all kind of felt like, I got in there, shot them a bunch of times, and they died. I don't know. It's a problem that I'm finding with Destiny.
Well, they did
can't seem to land boss battles and make them feel like it's a progression in the story.
They landed in Forsaken. Killing the Barons in Forsaken.
Yeah,
it was a yes.
They were like varied.
This is an increase as you went. Yeah. Because you'd have the machinist and she'd just throw fucking crap at you, like, and stuff like that. But then you could go up, and then they all had their different things, and they all felt hard, and they all had their different mechanics to fight,
Yeah.
And stuff like that. All right. All right, as we know, there's all these different different Fallen. So I'm going to run through what the Fallens are, and then we can decide. All right, Dregs. Unlike other classes of Fallen, Dregs possess only 2 arms that to the usual 4. Their lowest standing within the Fallen hierarchy results in the resentment by other classes, and the Dregs' second set of arms are docked and prevented from developing until they have proven themselves worthy of becoming a Vandal. Otherwise, they are similar to other Fallen classes, albeit smaller due to lack of ether and sporting large crests of hair. Vandals are a 6-limbed class of Fallen, having a higher ranking than Dregs, but lower than Captains. They bear heavier armor and more deadly weapons than Dregs. Vandals wield 1 of 4 types of weapons: shock rifles, mid-range weapons that fire bright blue homing projectiles, wire rifles, powerful sniper rifles that take time to charge, shrapnel launchers, which fire several projectiles at a time, or a dual-wielding shock blades. Stealth Vandals variants of normal Vandals can use a cloaking ability to render themselves nearly invisible. What I liked is the cloaking device that Vandals use was produced for children to play hide and seek with. That was its main goal, was to fucking give it to kids so they can go and play fucking hide and seek.
That's funny.
Basically. Yeah. There's some really weird laws in there, I think. Right. Captains. Captains are a high-ranking class of Fallen, tactical coordinators and leaders of individual Fallen combat groups. Captains serve exclusively as infantry field commanders, personally leading their subordinates into direct combat with the enemy. They are the most vicious members of their crew and receive the largest rations of ether and the best gear. Right. Servitors. A servitor is a spherical mechanical Fallen class. Servitors can float in the air and shoot purple void blasts from their eye. A servitor's weak point is the center of its eye. They provide the Fallen's life-sustaining ether and are treated as gods by the Fallen. Living relics of the Fallen past civilization, servitors are highly advanced machines that can process matter and energy into ether, and all Fallen depends on for life. They can fulfill a supporting role on the battlefield, but also anchor Fallen communications network and provide technological support. Although servitors fulfill a vital role in Fallen society, they are integrated in a complex way. Servitors are attached to a prime servitor, the largest and most powerful servitors in a Fallen house. A prime servitor exists in an unclear symbiosis with a Fallen Archeon, who works to convey a wish of the house's Kells. Prime servitors. Prime servitors are one of the most important figures in a Fallen house. They are ranked 3rd in command of a Fallen house, directly behind the Archeon and the Kell. Prime servitors are used to be viewed as gods by their houses, thanks to the ether they create. Prime servitors in particular were a symbol of hope until the whirlwind occurred. A Kell is a leader of the Fallen house. Fallen houses tend to collapse and turn against each other if the Kells fall, but nobles of houses can rise to power and replace former Kells. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is there has to be infighting. If there was this much ether, there has to be infighting due to the fact that it's just the way it goes. If there was money in the streets, you'd have one person will want the money more than anybody fucking else.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way it works. You can't get away from the fact that as a human being, if there's money in the streets, you will fight the other person for that fucking money.
Yeah.
Just general the way we work, I suppose. All right. I think that's all the stuff that I've taken off the thing, and this is all my writing now. The sphere of iridescent ivory parted the heavy clouds cover. A light green sky peeked through in the wake of the sphere. The Elixni ran for cover in a herd of screaming clicks and screeches, burying themselves deep in the cellar of their homes. Children chirped and clicked, fear easily read upon their faces. But nothing happened. No attacks, no war, no death. Just the sun that barely showed itself shining a little more hospitable. a little more welcoming in the harsh environments that they had grown accustomed to. The brave ventured out into a staccato steps, shading their eyes from the now pleasant sun. The thing hung in the sky, hovering or held there by unseen force. The clouds that were gray and angry most of
We're losing you.
the time were now lazily floating. Am I back?
Yep.
Oh fuck! My wife is trying to fucking ring me.
Ah.
Goddamn wife.
Oh, marriage.
Damn it. So where do you? Yeah, no. The Lixney ran for cover in a herd of screaming clicks and screeches, burying themselves deep in the cellar of their homes. Children chirped and clicked, fear easily read upon faces, but nothing happened. No attacks, no war, no death, just the sun that barely a little more welcoming in a harsh environment that they had grown accustomed to. The brave ventured out in staccato steps, shading their eyes from a now pleasant sun. The thing hung in the sky, hovering or held there by an unseen force. The clouds that were grey and angry most of the time were now lazily floating past its surface. And then the first drops hit the dusty world, picking up in tempo until a downpour of aether rain fell, more ether than we'd seen in our lives. The Elixni danced and played in the streets, turning them to mud under happy feet as the ether fell, but they didn't care. We saved by the Savior, our Savior. So look, the way I'm describing the world is not set in stone. I thought it'd just make it a little bit. If it was already paradise, how can it be a paradise after the traveler come because he's pushing them into the golden age? I don't understand. It doesn't feel right with me, you know. And that's why I kind of made it like a little bit of a desert.
Well, we don't fully know what
desert.
We don't know when Varix was born. Like, most of our understanding of Rhys comes from Varix's tellings. So we don't know if he was born pre-Traveler showing up. And, like, if he was born when the Traveler had already arrived, that might be the reason why he describes this place as ether flowing through the planet and flourishing, and everyone just has access to it. So you could be right. It could have been like a barren, just shit show, and like everyone was scrounging for ether, and everyone was fighting everyone, and the Traveler showed up, and it sort of brought them into this new age. Maybe
the way his law is written is that he was a part of House Judgment, and he was a fairly large part of House Judgment, and they come around before the Traveler was the Traveler came, you know.
Okay.
The way it's described, the way it points out that, is that he was there before. But I'm like, I don't know how long. It doesn't indicate how long.
Yeah.
We'll live for. Now, the time that the House Judgment was produced was fucking eons before we even come onto the scene. We were not a part of the scene.
Yeah.
And so I don't see how he could live that long. Like, is he an extended life form, or how have they got an infinite life?
Yeah, how long do they live for? Is the question.
Yeah, because
naturally.
Yeah, because I can understand the Vex, robotic, and they can think. Callus is hundreds of thousands of years old.
Yeah, Callus right now, though, is not in a form that is powerful. He's basically like a little creature.
Gaul is coming into power now. Gaul is before we meet the Elixni, or before the Traveler comes to the Elixni. So Gaul's rise to power is before this period in time. Yeah. But then now we're seeing him in the Red War.
Yeah,
that's a good 100. That's a good 100,000 years, you know, in between one to the other.
Yeah, it's a bit. It's weird, isn't it? We got to figure out.
It's about out there. It's a bit out there. All right. And I do apologize, everybody. I do apologize for the issue that we're having with sound. I am trying to sort out. I have got this mixture of just random fucking. I tell you what I did. I decided to go to Kmart wires, phone charger wires, for one for my phone, one just USB. And I made a mistake of buying 3 meter long ones, 3 meter long ones. And so I just got this fucking coil of wires around back here of 3 meters, but I only needed about this fucking long.
Yeah.
It's the Elixni flourished. They will become a paradise. The green sky turned in a pink blush as the sun hit it just the right way. Civilizations popped up. Servitors were built in the great machine's image that gave us out to ether to the masses. There were festivals and holidays for this great machine that saved us. But this didn't stop the fighting. What the Elixni had, others wanted it more, as in the nature of the worlds. Years later, they finally touch the stars and they become even more. But as the others become more, others become jealous. The Elixni explored the closest planets, bringing strange and wonderful things back to Reese. They traded and met others like them, but not them. And Reese became the commerce hub of the system. But that ended petty jealousy and rivalry. The war started. With advancement of spacefare, advancement of weaponry, casualties mounted, and houses grew and fell like the tides, many washed away to history. The Elixni were ravished and his people broken. Houses fought amongst themselves, wanting what the others had, and the world fell under the onslaught. So, like I said, as in old stuff, the Edge Wars does not have any law attached to it. Mm-hmm. It's just an Edge War. That's the only mention is it's the Edge War, and it got stopped by what's coming up next. There's no other information on it. It's just make it up. It's just a name. It just doesn't. That's all it was. That's all it was. So the Elixni had 2 golden ages. They had the original golden age when the first traveler appeared, and then they touched the stars. So they went up to they were.
We just lost.
And then something happened.
You're back.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry, everyone.
We got the gist.
I hate this. So there are 2 golden ages. One and a second one. The war happened. That collapsed the first golden age. All right. They call it the Edge Wars. I would imagine it's out on the edges of the solar systems or some shit like that. That's why they give it a fucking cool name. Or they just thought it was a cool fucking name and they didn't want to fucking give it any fucking any law whatsoever. The king understands judgment, and for together they ended the Edge Wars in their people's golden age. Varys the Loyal. The two houses arose and broke an uneasy truce: the House of Kings and the House of Judgment. The House of Kings ruled under Krask, and the House of Judgment was the law, and they were just. The arising of these 2 houses brought a new golden age, and they flourished under the rule and judgment of these houses. Hubs of commerce between the Kells became a thing of export and import, and they become uneasily united. The Elixni were well fed, and the war stopped on that day. Don't get me wrong, there's still more probably infighting, but they were quickly stopped by the legal proceedings of House Judgment. So, House of Kings, House of Judgment, they combined. One was the lawmakers and scribes. I think Varys is classed as a scribe, so he would be the one leading all the judges and all that sort of fucking garbage. Mm-hmm. House of Kings is a guy who was thing with Krask. By all accounts, they were saying when you went and fought the House Devils on the EDZ, mm-hmm. Krask is still alive somewhere on the EDZ. Whether they've obviously got thoughts that they're going to bring him out or something. There was a little bit of lore that I kind of missed where he had been killed, but by Fask. And all this sort of stuff. But then there's a bit of lore from Varys talking to other people in the Prison of Elders, saying that that's a lie and he's alive. And then he talks to Cade, and Cade goes out and finds him. But that's the end of that.
Right.
That's the end of that. Done. That happens.
We only ever faced the House of Kings once in Destiny, and that was in Destiny 1 when we're still patrolling Cosmodrome as the first planet. We take out a few of their leaders, but not like a Archon or anything. And then when Rise of Iron happened, the last expansion, and Siva happened to the Fallen, and they made the Splicers house. There was mention of the Splicers went to... No, not the Splicers. The House of Wolves went to the House of Kings with a peace treaty. The Kings declined, and Skolas killed them. But maybe not. Maybe some of the killers still survived.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I don't know. Like that.
Because they're a house that just didn't really come into play. We saw them once. They kind of had like the Devils were red.
No.
Kings were gold. It's kind of cool. But yeah, we just didn't really ever see anything.
With like a trident, like a 3-pronged.
Yeah, on their
like
flags.
a 3-pronged cloak.
Yeah,
and so that's where I'm going to leave it there, because after that is the world. The whirlwind is pretty much straight up after this, and I kind of want to give it his own thing with the whirlwind.
Okay.
So we now got Varrix's House of Judgment.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a secondary. We got a secondary golden time or golden age. The first one got destroyed from the edge thing.
Yeah.
Golden gate time. Hey. But it's like I like the elixir. I still think that Ether couldn't have fighting, or you just get Kells everywhere, and then that will bring his own in fighting because of the amount of power. Maybe the world wasn't barren. Maybe there was certain things, but if Ether is their lifeblood, then it would be. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't fucking hold right with me. And then the House of Kings, which is the ruling class with House Judgment, and then they kind of broke it an uneasy truce, and then put the new Golden Age in.
Yeah, see,
that's all I got.
When you say House Kings, it just gives that implication that there's a hierarchy of just level of people, or elixir.
Well, you would have.
There was royalty and then peasants almost.
So from a book perspective, there's a guy that Remedy Feisty writes these books, D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons books, and he writes about the people called Dark Elves, and they have a house structure, but their house structure is in a ranking system, which God puts the ranking system in. So even if the houses are all individual, I would imagine the houses as a ranking structure dictate where they have standing in the whole overall structure. So I would imagine they'd be the kings, House of Kings, obviously kind of dictates by their name.
Yeah.
Then they need a law, and they'd be like thing, and then it'd be the most powerful houses, and then petering down to the little shitty houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the other thing as well is we, as the people writing this stuff, is adding in names. Like I think you pointed out a few episodes ago, is we given these people names, but it's just the Fallen given their house names by something that they kind of seen.
Yeah.
House of Wolves, it would have been by their thought of what the wolf looks like, or on their planet what a wolf was supposed to look like. But probably just a fucking insect or some shit like that.
So yeah.
And it's back to what the ghost said. Is it just purely geographical? House of Winter, House of Kings, like they haven't got it. In theory, it should be House of Kells, shouldn't it? Because they do not have a king. Because it must probably us. It's most probably us as going, all right, this is what this is. We have translated this into a House of Kings.
The House of Kells was another thing that came up with the House of Wolves expansion, where Skolas wanted to be the Kell of Kells, and he wanted to make the House of Kells to be the leader of the Kell of Kells, and it's like dun 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 dun, dun all the way down. Vinny, the House of Dusk that you're referencing is after the like big fallout of the Fallen throughout the Destiny 1 campaign. After we like obliterated House of Winter and Wolves and Kings and Devils, the House of Dusk is like what is left. And it's theorized that Aldrin kind of brought them together.
House of Light.
House of Light is Mithrax and them on the farm right now.
Yeah, and it's just like one person.
We're kind of sending...
That's him. What?
With Beyond Light, we're kind of sending like Varrix's friends who were under Aramis.
Yeah,
and now they're getting catch to fuck off to Earth.
Because that was our mission with the mission with the with the ship, wasn't it? That was locked.
Yeah.
I tell you what we got given as well. That's that part, Fallen wise. But look, the other thing I want to ask as well is like, if anybody wants my footnotes, I can put them in Discord. If anybody wants to read them, add to them. Like they just sit on my computer and don't do anything fucking else, to be honest. All right. I got given lots of questions.
I got
All
something.
Right, here we go. These are for you, Agnakai.
Don't use up all my time. You do your questions.
I'll just do the first. All right. What is the ideal drink to match? What is the ideal drink to match a raid?
Water.
What the fuck? Lager. Fucking weird fucker. Ultimate snacks to go with marathon sessions of Destiny. Now, I know that you like Skittles.
Yes. But Skittles, no, not for marathons, because Skittles make your mouth dry and they're disgusting. Some sort of chips, whatever flavored chips you like. They keep your mouth dry.
Chips.
Yeah.
I never pick chips, to be honest. I never pick chips. I do chocolate. I do. Fair play.
Chocolate
Anybody else?
sits in your
Vince,
stomach
what
too
do you
much.
use? And Seiko?
No, sits in you too much.
Best beats to Crucible with?
I was playing it earlier before the stream. There's a lo-fi hip-hop YouTube playlist that you can listen to. It's kind of downbeat and nice and chill. It keeps you kind of level-headed. That's what I like. I do it for studying as well. It kind of
But I'm used set to be at 850s to be able to hear footfalls.
Oh, not in Destiny, man. You can hear footsteps in Destiny, but I don't do it for that. I used to do it for Call of Duty when it was like pretty prevalent, but like there's so much radar knowledge and everything in Destiny and other things that's like I don't use it for that.
Ways to stay in shape? Carrots. Really fucking. I bet carrots. I wouldn't put it past him actually for him just chewing on a carrot. So what Vince has to everybody else, Vince is the conscience of our clan.
The dad.
If we think it's bad, we send it to Vince. Vince tells us if it's bad or not, and then we can post it. He's the conscience. So he's our like Jiminy Cricket. My wife makes me carrots. I don't think your wife makes you carrots, mate. I think they out of the ground. I think the earth makes the carrots, and then your wife gives you the carrots. But Vince has, as he plays, he has a fridge next to him with all sandwich stuff in that he can make himself a sandwich mid-game, and he doesn't have to go out to the kitchen. He's just got like a little bar fridge with sandwich shit in there.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I want that. What a fuck.
Like, what's his name?
Carrots on demand.
Like ham and cheese. Bread. Ham, cheese, and bread. My wife makes me crazy.
Do you reckon it's like one of those double-sided fridges? Like his wife loads it from the back and then he grabs it from the front?
It's a bar fridge. It's like a little bar fridge, man. Right. Okay. Ways to stay in shape whilst playing.
Oh, God. Don't eat. You can't jerk off while playing. You get it all over your controller.
All right. Last one. Mm-hmm. Most embarrassing stories. Now, I've got one. Most embarrassing.
You can do yours first.
Stay there. I'll be back now.
All right. I don't know if I was embarrassed, but that time when I think it was after we just made the Relaxed Guardians clan, and I was coming on late, and it was like Derek and Dan were in the party for the first time, and they were all talking to Seiko, and I just jumped in and I was like, Seiko, I shit my pants the other day.
This is another poo story. So the hotel I'm staying in,
Oh God.
does not have lights in the ceiling because it's cheap. Okay. But they also don't have toilet paper. So they have that.
What is that?
And they come out in little tiny sheets. It's
Is
a
it
little tiny sheet of toilet paper
like a
that come out.
dispenser on the wall?
Yeah, exactly. It's a dispenser on the wall.
Oh
all right?
my God.
And so you're taking a shit. You pull these things out, and because they're really fucking small, I'm a cruncher. You have to kind of crunch them.
Oh, you gotta fold it.
But it's see? So I basically took a shit like a couple of days ago and accidentally fingered my own ass as I pushed this fucking toilet paper up my fucking asshole. There, embarrassing stories. Enjoy that. The fucking worst toilet paper in the fucking world, and it's only like that's you folding it. So you clump it, you have to get like a fucking load out and then clump it up and go for gold. But it's just fucking waste of fucking time. There we are. There's my embarrassing story. Go for it.
God, I'm in tears.
Right.
All right. I don't know what embarrassing story to match that, but I do have a story that referenced something that we spoke about off stream. About 2 weeks ago on the Destiny Down Under podcast, you got called out on a Facebook post by Mylan. If anyone's here, they don't know if they don't know the Destiny Down Under podcast, that's the bigger Australian streamers. We're little podcasts, they're big podcasts. Mylan's like fucking millions of subscribers on YouTube. Anyway, he got sent something that Sevs had said on Facebook saying that he doesn't like the way Mylan yells on the podcast. And Mylan thought that he was talking about yelling in general, but Mylan meant on the podcast. Anyway, I thought it would be funny because you're going over to Western Australia this week. And that's where Mylan lives, right? So I thought it would be funny if you and Mylan did a little jiu-jitsu match, right? Have you got the stream up? By any chance?
Have I got the stream up? No,
Yeah.
I am not taking. I'm not in Perth. I'm in Perth for a very short period of time. I have to fly out to a site.
I need you to pull up the stream for a second because I got Vinny to make something for me that I'm gonna send.
I've got your stream up.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is. I'll just click over to it. Ready?
I can't see anything.
Oh fuck!
Oh, you're a fucking. What a fucking asshole! Why the fuck would you do something like that?
Just one more time.
You fucking asshole.
So I'm gonna send that to Mylan.
Yeah, I got an advert. I got an advert that came out.
I'm gonna send that to Mylan, and I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if you two can settle this like men on the mat.
Fuck. No, so, what I turned around and said, what I turned around and said was, there's, and I should have explained it. I should have explained a lot more and how I did it, like why I done it. I was like, it's come to a stage where he's disillusioned by the game.
Okay, sorry.
He's disillusioned by the.
1 second, they're asking me for one more time in the chat.
About 10 seconds.
All right, you can keep going.
I have to.
It's so well done.
I have to wait for the 10. It's more than a 10-second delay.
Vinny sent me so many mock-ups. And
what you don't know, guys. What you don't know, guys, is Agnakai is a fucker. He's put my head on a very, very ripped person. I'm not a ripped person. And then he's put Mylan's on a very ripped person.
No, that's Mylan's body. That's straight Mylan. We got him from a jiu-jitsu stream.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. No. No.
Oh, wow. I just thinking, fuck, I'm getting my face beaten. So what happened was, I went on a stream. I went on a thread in Facebook, and I turned around and said, "Bife the Lord God." And then a guy popped up, and he's one of Mylan's moderators. And he turned around and goes, "Oh, have you ever heard of Mylan?" And I was like, "I can't at the moment. I can't stand him. I shouldn't. I didn't put a say at the moment. I said I just can't stand him. His shouting is fucking killing me."
Yeah.
And what I should have said is there was an episode, maybe 3 or 4, I think about 5 episodes ago in the DDU, and they just bagged everything. They just bagged the shit out of everything. It was a very, very negative episode, and that's what got me. Like we do this stream, we do this podcast because we enjoy the game. We like it because we enjoy the game. It's the game that we play. It's a game that we bring all our friends together and stuff like that. And he's very disillusioned, but then he still bags the game out, and that's what grips me. And that's what grips my shit. That's what gripped my shit. And look, I can't stand the shouting. There's no need for shouting, like screaming and all that sort of stuff. And I understand that's the way he is, and I fair play. And I should have explained it a little bit better. I'm not apologizing for my comment, but I should have explained it a lot better.
You should settle it on the mat.
So it is. Please don't fucking send that.
I'm setting it. Oh fuck, man! It's. I'm gonna settle. I'm gonna clip this. This is going straight up to Twitter. And that's what we're ending it tonight, guys. Thanks for listening. Follow us on all our social media. Instagram, Twitter. Please follow us on Twitter. That's gonna be fucking hilarious. Facebook now. Did you like the tag that Vinny?
Yeah, I haven't trained full contact for like a good, I think about 3 or 4 years.
All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna
settle on the mat, bring the pain.
I'm gonna bounce over to a live stream of Destiny straight after this. Sez will probably be in there with me before he gets fucking wrangled. That's gonna be. Do you reckon he'll like GG? All right. Thanks again, guys. I'll catch you soon.
Run out of fucking sounds. Does look like what I sent to chat. All right, man. Look. All right.
I've already.